When you're up against a hostile room of people who don't want to be there, you need real strategies that get results. Welcome to From Hostage to Hero, the show that gives you practical advice you can use right now in the courtroom, boardroom, or classroom. Learn how to move your unwilling audience to one that is invested in what you're saying, eager to participate, and engaged in the process. Learn from the attorney whisperer herself, your host, Sari Delamotte.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of From Hostage to Hero. Sari Delamotte here with you. How y'all doing? Yeah, you hanging in there? I sure hope so. I hope this podcast is helping even just a little bit. And if it is, again, give us a review. I'm going to keep asking until those numbers continue to go up. It really does make a difference, my friends. So if you wouldn't mind, please give us a review. All right. Well, today we are talking about how saying yes begins with saying no. You know, Warren Buffett has a great quote, and he says the difference between, and I may be getting this wrong, but the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. And so I want to talk to you today about basically the two different types of, or two different people you need to say no to. And there's two different types of people out there who struggle with each one of them. One is the type of person, and you may recognize yourself in this, that has a problem saying no to others, right? So there's a lot that you're doing that you probably don't want to be doing, but you don't want to let other people down. Then there are other people, such as myself, that have no problem or very little problem saying no to others, but have a lot of problems saying no to ourselves, right? So that's also a person that we need to say no to. So why are we talking about this? Well, you know, so much of the work that I'm doing and that I'm doing along with Coach K, which is my husband, and he functions as a mindset coach around here, although I do a lot of mindset coaching myself too. But so much of the work that we're doing surrounds around the idea that you get to decide what you want and that it is your life's purpose to be fulfilled and to live into your fulfillment. And so often one of the scariest questions that we can ask our clients, and I say scary because the reaction we get when we ask our clients this question is, what do you want? And our clients just freak out because, what do you mean? What do I want? Oh, right? Because we've so lost touch with what we want and why knowing what we want is so important. And you can see that in that so many of you end up living lives, and I include myself in this from years past, you end up living lives, or we do, that we don't recognize. And we look back and we go, how the hell did I get here? And we lost touch with what it is we really want. And so much of the coaching that we're doing with our clients, and you might go, well, what the hell does this have to do with being a great trial attorney? Well, it has to do with being a great human being in terms of like finding your fulfillment. When you are coming from a place of fulfillment and joy and love and loving your life and your relationships and the work that you're doing, that absolutely translates into the courtroom. I mean, so many of you are asking, how do I have more confidence? How do I show up in a bigger, badass way? And what you're not recognizing is that it has nothing, well, I wouldn't say nothing, it has little to do with what skills you're using and has everything to do with how you feel about yourself, how confident you are in your ability to handle shit, have your own back, and know that you're great regardless of the results. I mean, that's why I'm hammering away at all that. Because once you really get that and how amazing you are and how you can handle anything and that nothing can take you lower than you want to go, that translates into taking risks in the courtroom, getting better results, feeling great about yourself regardless of the result. So living a fulfilling life is absolutely connected to becoming a great trial attorney or living into being a great trial attorney. And so that often starts with, what do you want? And I'm so surprised at how many people don't know how to answer that question. Now, for those of you who have been playing with us along your journey in the last year or two. And you've come alongside and you're totally buying into all of this mindset work. And you are like, hell yeah, I deserve what I want. And you're getting clear and you're looking at your life and you're like, I want that. I want this. I want that. Now we enter the stage of, okay, if these are all the things you want to say yes to, then you got to say no to other things. And this is where so many of us, oh my goodness, I'm so included in this, go wrong. Because we start seeing all the things that we want, especially if you're working with a coach, and you start looking at all the things that you want and all the things that are possible that you haven't thought of before. And it's really super exciting. And then you start trying to incorporate all those things into your life. And that's where shit gets real. Because until we start saying no, we start adding things and we fill our life and we quit after a day or two of our quote unquote new life because it's just too much. I remember working with my own coach and really recognizing that I needed a lot more space in my life and that I was trying to cram too much in there. And so what did I do? I went and instead of saying no to things, I started looking at all kinds of schedules and plans. And I came up with 15 different types of time maps. If you've listened to my time management podcast episode, you'll know what I'm talking about when I talk about time maps. And I came up with a variety of different ways of how I could arrange my time. And every single time I came up short, I could not fit everything in. And so I brought it to coaching and I said to my coach, I can't make this work no matter what I try. And she said, well, there's one thing you haven't tried. I said, tell me. And she said, you haven't said no. Sorry, you can't possibly put in all the things you want into your schedule. You have to say no to something. And that's when I recognized this is where so many of us go wrong, is that yes, we start wanting again. And yes, we start recognizing the things that are going to bring us fulfillment. And what we think is going to work is just saying yes to all these things that we had never even considered before, or maybe even said no to before. And we now recognize that they're important, good things that we need in our lives. So we start saying yes to them. But the problem is that we don't say no to other things. And so we end up with relationships that no longer serve us, or we end up with too many possessions. I know many of you have been in that position. I was in that position just having moved in the last couple of months. My God, the stuff that you can accumulate. Or we're trying to do everything and we end up exhausting ourselves. And then we look and we go, see, I can't have what I want because it's not possible. And that's where the saboteur comes in and starts to play and say, see, look at you wanting things. That's dumb. Just keep your life the same. Then you won't be overwhelming yourself and exhausted. But we're looking in the wrong place. Where we need to be looking as, if I want to say yes to these things, I have to say no to these other things. So for example, we've recently decided that until there's a vaccine or some other development that will make getting together safe, that we will not be doing in-person events probably until summer 2021. And that's a big decision. And so I'm going to be using this time to grow the membership, because that's really where my love is right now, and do some business things that I have not for the last 15 years had the time to do. Now, in order to do that, it would be very easy. And my old persona would say, great, let me just put that on my to-do list and never spend any time thinking about how long that would actually take me and where I would put that. But now with this new knowledge, I immediately went to, okay, if I want to create systems, watch some of these courses that I bought, never actually spent time watching, grow the membership, learn more about marketing, do some reading and journaling and things so I can bring all of that wisdom to my members, get more guest webinars in here, connect with some other people, do all those things, then what do I have to say no to? And there were some very, very wonderful things in my business that I love doing that I said, I can't do that in the next 8 months. And that brings up the other point is when you're looking to say no, so many of us view that as a permanent decision. My friends, let me introduce you to the concept of seasons. Look, seasons aren't just for the weather. Seasons are also for times in our life. Just because you're saying no to something right now doesn't mean you have to say no to it forever. I'm going to take the next 8 months and I'm going to hunker down and really build the membership and build my business. For once, instead of always going by the seat of my pants and saying yes to myself constantly without saying no. It's taking discipline, I'll tell you that much, to not want to do everything and work with everyone. For the first time in my career, I have more work than I know what to do with, and I have to say no. Whereas before, when I was building my business, I said yes to everything. So it's a habit I'm having to break so that I can really focus where I want to focus. Listen, you can't have it both ways. You cannot have a fulfilling life doing things that you want to do and being who you want to be without saying no, because those no's are just as important as the yeses. So my question to you is, what are you wanting? Yes. And if you want those things to come true, what will you have to say no to? So let's say that you want to have more fulfilling relationships. Well, my question to you would be, what relationships do you have to say no to? And that may not even be connected to more fulfilling relationships. Maybe you are feeling drained and depleted. And if you look at why, there's some things you have to say no to. One of them might be a toxic relationship, a relationship that no longer serves you. It might be a paralegal or a receptionist in your office that just really isn't working out, but you keep saying yes and keep giving more training and keep moving it along, even though you know you need to say no and cut that off. But for both of your sakes. Maybe you're doing things that drain you, that you can give to someone else so that you can focus on what you want. I mean, what physical possessions do you no longer need? Oftentimes, clearing out our physical gunk actually helps us mentally. The point is that going back to Warren Buffett's quote, really successful people say no to almost everything because they're so clear on their burning yes. Most of us, I think, live in the land of maybe. Right? And we're never really in no, and we're never really in yes. When you get super clear on what your yeses are, I am saying yes to that. Oh, hell yeah, I'm saying yes to that. What do I mean about the things you want to say yes to? Yes, I want a really fulfilling, loving relationship. Yes, I want a really healthy, fulfilled kid. Yes, I want a thriving business that doesn't require that I drive myself into the ground. Yes, I want great friendships where I feel supported, but they also feel supported. Yes, I want a great, healthy body that's strong and has lots of energy and is pain-free. If those are all things on your yes list, by the way, those are the things on my yes list, then you can go and you can say, okay, what do I have to say no to in order to have those things? So if I want a really great, loving relationship, then I'm going to have to start saying no to my critical comments that fly out of my mouth sometimes. And instead, embrace who Kevin is and the way he does things sometimes. Right? If I want a great, fulfilling kid, I'm going to have to say no to flicking, that's not the word I wanted, to scrolling on Facebook, and instead put my iPad down and spend the half an hour before dinner, even though I'm tired after a day of work, engaging with her. And if I want a healthy body, I'm going to have to say no to daily ice cream bars because I want this more. The point is, real maturity isn't about how do I have it all. Real maturity and a fulfilling life begins with what am I really want and what am I going to have to say no to in order to have that? So the question I'm going to leave you with today is, what are your yeses and nos? Start with your yes list. These are the things I'm saying yes to. These are the things that I want. Now go through that list one by one and ask yourself, in order to make this a priority, what do I have to say no to? And don't like convince yourself otherwise that you can, well, I could probably still do that and do this. Really gut check it. Go back to the Body Wisdom podcast episode and check it out and see what your inner wisdom has to say about it. You know, for some of you, this is going to be a struggle when it comes to saying no to others. Maybe you should not be on a committee that you've been on for years. Maybe you need to get out of the book club that you've been doing for 6 months because you no longer have time now that you've gone through your yes list. And that's going to be hard. Others of you, if you're like me, have no problem with that, but you're going to have problems saying no to yourself because you think you can do it all. Guess what? You can't. And guess what else? You'll be much happier when you say no and recognize that there are seasons that you may be able to say yes to yourself later, but what's important now and what is needed now. This is the key to a fulfilling life. And those of you worried about saying no to others, you have to recognize that your fulfillment is also what fulfills other people. You're not serving anyone or anything by sacrificing yourself so that others are served. It all starts with you being happy and fulfilled. Then you can give that happiness and fulfillment to others. And that's a mindset shift that you're going to need to work on because I know a lot of you struggle with that. And that's not what today's podcast is about. Happy to do another episode on how to say no to others. The fact is that you're always making choices and that all of your yeses have to begin with a no. All right, my friends, I hope this helps. Hope you go out there and say no to lots of things. And check in on our Facebook group and let me know how it's going. All right? Talk soon.
That's it for this episode of From Hostage to Hero. But head to our website, saridlm.com, for other must-have resources from Sari Delamotte. Read the transcript of this podcast, watch trial tip videos, or download your free copy of Sari's article, Why Jurors Hate the Hobby Question. We're glad you joined us today, and until next time, remember that to lead a hostage to freedom, you must first free yourself.